Hello, thanks so much for joining this webinar. My name is Jason from MedPro Disposal. Okay, so let's talk trash. From your traditional waste streams to regulated medical waste, we're going to be reviewing how your business becomes more efficient and can save time and money with just a few simple tips. Now, in our years working with clients, we've found about 80% of healthcare practices are overpaying when it comes to their medical waste and are unaware of alternative options that provide a similar service and up to thousands in savings each year. In this webinar, we'll cover the ways that you can save on your medical waste disposal with small, easily implemented changes in your practice. Combined with selecting the right vendor, these adjustments can add up to big savings. So let's start with some of the most common waste streams that you're going to be finding in healthcare. Sharps waste includes any biohazard material that can puncture your skin and is contaminated with bodily fluids. This form of waste will go into specified sharps containers. Medical biohazard waste goes by many names, including RMW or remediated medical waste, biomedical waste or medical waste. RMW is any infectious contaminated waste, including gloves, body gauze, or any type of saturated waste. This waste will go into a biohazard waste box. Trace chemotherapy waste includes any materials used to prepare and or administer chemotherapy medications, and they are handled and disposed of differently. This waste is incinerated. We'll get into the methods of treatment later in the presentation. Pharmaceutical waste, that includes any unused expired medications and over-the-counter personal care products. Diverse types of medications require different disposal processes, and the waste is usually incinerated. These items should not be discarded in the trash, as they wind up contaminating the environment. And they'll also need to be separated from your red bag medical waste and, of course, your sharps. You might not consider your data and document destruction to be a part of your waste stream, but as regulated materials, they should be considered a part of your overall waste management plan. Sensitive documents and data sources like hard drives and retired technologies need to be securely wiped and destroyed. Finally, there's solid waste, commonly known as trash or garbage. It's anything discarded in a normal waste bin. Now, how do you create efficiency to keep your costs down? This is the biggest key component for healthcare providers. Implementing waste disposal strategies throughout your practice will help ensure that you don't fall into non-compliance and save money by avoiding mixed waste streams. So let's start by focusing on waste classification. When you educate your staff on the proper waste disposal methods, you can get a much better idea of your frequency of service and your true waste quantities. Begin by ensuring everyone they understand the typical waste that your facility produces and can easily identify the correct bins. Once this is established, this can have a dramatic impact on the cost to your facility. Consistently reviewing your usage is important too in maintaining and controlling your costs. Since everything is built off volume and frequency in this industry, the more often you're getting picked up and the more waste that you're getting picked up, the higher the cost of services. Medical waste can be expensive. It costs about 8 times more to dispose of than your traditional waste, and 85% of medical waste is deemed non-biohazardous. It's important to properly identify waste that needs special service, including tissue and more hazardous materials. You want to eliminate the overuse of materials that are used in medication preparation, such as syringes or chucks. Things without needles that do not need to be put into a sharps container or pose any risks to patients and staff can be disposed of in your normal waste stream. At MedPro Disposal, we provide posters to know what needs to go into the biohazard area boxes and what doesn't, and to properly train your staff. They've been designed to help your staff better understand what waste needs to be put in the appropriate boxes. By clearly displaying guidelines for what does and what does not need to be disposed of in your regulated containers, you can guide your staff towards better decisions. Service frequency, geographically, whether it's a rural or metropolitan area, is built off route density. How many stops that driver makes in your area can affect efficiency. It's easier to add a stop than to create a whole new route for the driver. If you are opening facilities in an area, it helps with adding stops to a route rather than building a route itself. Cutting down how often you're being picked up is worth looking at too if you have the space at your facility to store an additional box or two. For example, if you're getting one box being picked up every week, your cost could be dramatically decreased if that's reduced to, say, 2 boxes every other week, or maybe 4 boxes a month, if you have the capacity, of course, to store that. Some facilities have a shed outside where they store their waste so that they can have less pickups, but more waste being picked up at a given time. Because more waste being picked up less often makes the route more beneficial and, of course, cost-effective for the biohazard waste removal company. And they pass the savings along to, yes, the customer. There's a way to do that. By consolidating multiple smaller pickups into one larger service date, you will spend significantly less. Also, it helps to work with a national company. Take advantage of economies of scale and work with a larger company servicing multiple businesses in your area already. MedPro covers the entire continental US. We've got routes across the country, whereas maybe a local hauler only covers a certain region. If your business operates in multiple states or you plan to expand to another state, you would have to work with multiple waste haulers. You can avoid that hassle by going with a larger company with a national presence, such as, you guessed it, MedPro. Service volume. Keeping an eye on how much you typically generate and planning ahead for busier times is one way to make sure that you don't get any surprises on your bill. At MedPro, the way we operate is you are allotted a certain amount of waste per month. If you go over that amount, there is an additional container cost. By keeping an eye on your usage and knowing if your waste stream has gone down or gone up even, you can let your waste hauler know right away and get a better per box cost. If you're dramatically decreasing your waste stream, you don't want to be on that same schedule frequency because you're going to be paying for a service that, well, you don't need as often. Nobody likes additional fees. So make sure that your vendor can tell you what your costs will be for the length of your contract and what any overages will cost. Make sure it's clear when you're signing an agreement. Healthcare is a constantly changing business, and working with a hauler who can adjust your services needs as they change is absolutely crucial to ensure that you don't pay more than you need. You want to work with a flexible company that can meet your needs and can tailor what you're getting picked up, even if those needs change. If your waste output picks up during flu season, or if it drops in the summer, you'll want to make sure that you're with a vendor that is very flexible and can accommodate any changes in your healthcare facility. Now, a big question that a lot of healthcare providers want to know is, where does all this waste go? It's one of the most common questions that we hear. In the medical waste removal industry, about 85 to 90% of waste is treated through the autoclave process. It's the most environmentally friendly waste management process. Regulated medical waste and sharps all get autoclaved. But now, what is autoclave? Well, the autoclave process is a process where the waste goes through high-pressure steam treatment, then shredded, and then put into a dedicated landfill. Once it's deemed that there are no pathological contaminants inside the waste, then it's put into a regular landfill. Regulated medical waste and sharps all get autoclaved. Medical waste that's not put through an autoclave process is incinerated. The type of waste that gets incinerated and burned in a highly controlled environment until it's reduced to ash are animal carcasses or fat tissue. Plastic surgery offices have a lot of this type of waste, as you can imagine. The cost for incinerated waste is a bit higher, so keep an eye on what kind of waste you're getting rid of and make sure that it is necessary to incinerate. Chemical treatment for medical waste is not often used. It's usually reserved for hazardous types of waste such as chemicals or any type of RCRA hazardous waste. Transferring title in the medical waste removal industry, the generator of the waste holds the title from cradle to grave. When you create the waste and it gets transported to the treatment facility and put into the ground, you own the title, unless the company that you go with transfers that title. There are a few companies in the country that transfer title of the waste, and we are one of them. By doing this, we take all the risks from the customer. Once the waste is on our truck, we assume all liability. In case there was an accident or the waste container is compromised in any way, the customer would not be held liable. And we pride ourselves on taking risks for the customer to ensure complete customer satisfaction. MedPro Disposal is the fastest growing and largest privately held medical waste disposal company in the country, making us the go-to medical waste and disposal company for nearly 40,000 healthcare providers. However, as a past customer in this industry, we saw not only the opportunity to make waste disposal more affordable for all practices, we also saw a wider healthcare compliance need and decided to solve that too. The MP1 solution streamlines and centralizes all your healthcare compliance needs into one customized plan. We start with waste disposal and destruction services, including medical, pharmaceutical waste, sharps disposal, and secure data and document shredding, and finish with full circle healthcare compliance. Our programs offer every solution that your practice needs, all under one invoice. With bundle and save options, you can have peace of mind knowing that your practice is compliant and save money. With flat rate pricing, you're paying what we quote. Our dedicated customer advocates are ready to handle any questions or requests that you may have, and our online customer portal allows you to log in to pay your bills, retrieve manifests, and request anything from customer service. We offer practice protection with an $11 million insurance policy, and we transfer title to the waste, which leaves you with a compliant, insured solution. If there are any questions as far as anything that we've covered here today, please email us directly at sales@medprodisposal.com. You can also call if you want to get a quote through 866-254-2961, which is our direct line for the sales line. Thank you so much for watching.